So, Marvel Legends, because I think this one's a bit of a problem. So, we already know that, for me, there are a couple of lines that are ever expanding. One line that is ever expanding, without a doubt, is Masterverse. It is ever expanding, and it will continue to be so. The second line that is ever expanding would probably be Marvel Legends. I like Marvel Legends. It is at an absolute perfect price point. It releases great figure after great figure after great figure. The fact that Marvel Legends has been around for as long as it's been around is a testament to what it is. It is cheap, accessible figures that cover a vast variety of content. Mostly accessible and mostly obtainable. That's impressive. It's impressive because we know that there are better figures than Marvel Legends. But are they accessible? Can you go to a Walmart and pick them up? Most of the time, no. No, you cannot. You have to go out of your way, in most cases, to get something like a Mafex. Or something of that nature. You have to go out of your way to get it. That's just the way that it is. You're going to have to go online. And then chances are, when they do release, they release in a limited quantity. Now, I realize Marvel Legends has this problem as well. There are definitely characters that are difficult to get your hands on. I have a couple of them that 2024, I simply could not get them. Like, especially things that went exclusive to like Walmart or Target, that became a real problem, a real difficult buy. This is true. This happens. This is the nature of things. But otherwise, most of the time, Marvel Legends is accessible. This year, 2024, because I have to have time to edit this video. I'm filming this in 2024, but it's the 29th. So let's just be honest about it. But look, this year, I put together the entirety of the Fantastic Four. Twice! I got the Classic Family and the Modern Family. This year, I put together a massive segment of Extra X-Men. This year, I was able to obtain multiple Spider-Man. This year, I added multiple Marvel Legends to the shelf without problem. I mean, it was one after another that I was able to obtain and obtain easily. From going to Wally's, going to Ross, going to Walmart, going to Target, going to Amazon, just going to Big Bad Toy Store. And even when they sell out and it looks like you might not get it, they seem to come right back into circulation. I did not have a Kingpin, and I thought for sure I was not going to have a Kingpin. And then you know what happened? He came back. Then he went away again. Then he came back again. Yes, he came into rotation. He went away. He was gone for a while. He came back as a pre-order. I missed the pre-order window. He went away again, and another pre-order window opened up. And I had a chance at him, and I got him. I missed the Captain America that I wanted. Now I've got him. There's a second wave of pre-orders, and I've got him. I'm not saying it's always a guarantee. I know the characters that get tough to find. I'm very aware that things like the X-Men 97 Wolverine kind of became a tough buy. And from what I understand, I've heard this a couple of times. I have her, so I'm not looking for her. I've heard the X-Men 97 Jean Grey has become something that people are looking for. When Danny Ketch Ghost Rider released, it looked like that was going to be a one-time thing, a one window, and I got in there and I got it and I was very excited, and I saw people, even on my video, telling me, oh, I didn't get that. It was gone before I even had a chance, and you can get him right now. He's back in rotation. Marvel Legends is highly accessible, and it covers almost any single thing that you want Marvel-wise. You want an expanded universe of a bunch of different characters of the Avengers? They got it. X-Men? They got it. Doctor Strange? They got it. Fantastic Four? They got it. It just goes on and on and on. Defenders? You got it. Bunch of Hulk stuff? You got it. If you want it, more than likely, you may have to pay some extra dollars. Some characters become tougher to find. Maybe you ought to pay $50 or $60 if that's one you're really, really looking for. Or maybe you just wait because a lot of figures come back into rotation or get modernized versions. It happens. And Marvel Legends, this is both maybe a good point and a bad point. Marvel Legends is always redoing themselves. And when they do, they often get better and better and better and better and better. How many times have we seen Spider-Man again and again and again? To the point where there's an argument to be had that every Spider-Man is better than the last. Not necessarily a guarantee, but I'm saying there's an argument you could have here, realistically. There's even what-if characters. Marvel Legends is ultimately expansive, and because of that, I know that I'm going to pick Marvel Legends up again and again and again and again and again. I know this. It is without a doubt going to happen. What do I currently have in Marvel Legends right now that I need to have on the shelf? What stays and what goes? Does anything go? I need to look over the entire Marvel collection. I have a Marvel shelf. Let's figure out what I can do with it. And if I need to expand or break a collection off onto their own shelf. Let's figure that out. So here are the Fantastic Four. They're not leaving. They've got their own shelf, and that separated them from the mass of the collection. These are the X-Men. They're going to be moving off this top shelf because I've decided top shelf is specifically for large items that can be seen from basically any vantage point. They need to be large items like horses and such. We have Pokemon, which is probably not going to stay there. We're going to make decisions on that later on. But for right now, this is the Marvel Legends that's currently sitting to the side, which obviously, if I can lay them all out on the shelf like that, I can get them up on this shelf. But once I put the X-Men there, will that change? So step one, I want all of the X-Men on the shelf as the main part of my Marvel Legends, and then we're going to have to see what the rest of it breaks out like. Building around Jean Grey, this at least gets us started. So we've got Phoenix, and then we've got the 97 Jean and the 97 Cyclops, and the original Toys R Us, I was just say original, but that's the Toys R Us Dark Phoenix from years back. Then we have the First Class pack. I bought that original First Class collector's box, also from Toys R Us. We have the Goblin Queen. I really like this First Class. It's been an absolute staple of my shelf for years now. I thought this was cool. Since I have Colossus, I put him with Kitty, and I actually have Kitty like riding on his shoulders, which I think is, I love that little touch. I know that I don't often go out of my way to do like special poses because I know that I only have so much space. And I know that eventually I'm just going to pull him off of there and do pictures with him and have to set that back up. But I just thought it was too good to like pass up the opportunity to put a little bit of flair on the shelf. But let's keep going. All X-Men on the shelf. Wolverine 97. the original toy that I grew up with all the way back there. That's Juggernaut Rogue. We got the, I can't remember what he's called, but I remember the costume and everything. Got that 97 Scott and everything. Got over here, we got an 80 Scott, which is pretty cool. Like I said, I talked about setting her up. That Wolverine makes the most sense to be standing next to the First Class because in that storyline, that's how Wolverine looked, if I'm not mistaken. We got the X-Men 97 characters over here. And then, of course, we go from there. Look, I have that Sabretooth. I decided not to buy the other Sabretooth with the Wolverine, the 2-pack. I don't know if I've made a mistake. I remember everybody was talking about how big the new one was and how we needed one that was bigger. Well, now that I have Juggernaut and everything, it is kind of noticeable that, like, Sabretooth is only that big. But then again, next to the X-Men 97 Wolverine, he's basically perfect. So, like, I don't know how I feel about, I don't know. I'm really torn out on it. And I don't know that I want to go seeking it out, but, like, you get the idea. Now, the stuff that's left is all here. And the real question is, do I separate something out? Like, is Spider-Man a group that is always going to be expanding? And if so, maybe it gets its own shelf for right now. Maybe I put them under the Gundams and build a Spider-Man shelf right there. Maybe that's an idea and it buys just enough space for the rest of the Marvel to go up there. So I'm thinking that's exactly what we're going to do. Because here's the Marvel shelf as it stands right now. Just with everything on there, just crazy. And you know that I pack them in because chances are I'm just going to take that Daredevil and I'm going to take him down and I'm going to do pictures with him. I'm going to take I'm going to take that Kingpin down. I'm going to do pictures of him. I'm going to take this down. I'm going to do pictures with him. The Iron Man. I'm going to take Power Princess down. I'm going to take... So most of these people that even have any kind of poses or anything at all, they're almost redundantly lost on the poses that they have because chances are I'm going to take them down. They're not going to go up the same way. So I kind of pack my shelves in because I'm more focused on getting characters on the shelf and then being able to get them down for reference and use photos and do the things that I want to do. But I got a lot of space still. I could get all the Spider-Man on there. But Spider-Man is definitely one of those properties that is constantly increasing. Like, I often buy Spider-Man. Spider-Man and X-Men are the two Marvel properties that get bought all the time. And X-Men, as you could see, basically took up a whole shelf by themselves. Spider-Man is not as big because I often mix him into other things, but for right now, I think he's going to get his own shelf, and that will close out the Marvel collection so far. And as it stands, nothing is leaving the Marvel collection, I don't think. All right, so for what it's worth, that has worked. The Marvel shelf now looks like this. And then, of course, as we come over here and we pan down past the Gundams that we talked about, we now have a little Spider-Man display, a little Spider-Man shelf. And the cool thing about Spider-Man is that as I add him, I can actually have him do things like cling to these poles, which will even give it even more space. And we can get some risers in here and whatnot. We could build another shelf in that shelf because these guys aren't that big if we really want to mess around and play with some stuff. But for right now, that's what the Marvel shelf is looking like. So it's all set up. Currently in the project, we've opened 2 shelves. This has opened up this entire shelf here and that entire shelf there, basically. I'm not sure what the next part of the project is. There are some things that don't need to be touched this year. Star Trek is fine. It's a perfect shelf for what it is. It takes up as much space as it needs to take up. It has an ever-expanding area for an expansion because of the kind of stuff that it is. I don't have to worry about it. The anime shelf, for the most part, doesn't really need to be messed with. The only thing that's really going to happen is some more Dragon Ball Z guys are probably going to go up there. And that's far and few between as I find the ones that I can build. We do have to figure out what's going to happen with the Origins. Like, are they going to get one of these shelves? Or, because we have one open shelf right here, one open shelf right here. I need to figure that part out. And we also need to figure out, are G.I. Joes and video game stuff going to get their own spot on these shelves? And then that going to go, I don't know. That's the last part of it that I really need to figure out. But otherwise, as it's standing right now, this is all shaping up pretty well. Well, I'll do another shelf later. So far, that's the Marvel shelf. Nothing has left the Marvel shelf this year. As far as I'm concerned, everything up here still pretty much has a reason for being up here. And if you want to get technical, he doesn't exactly have a guaranteed spot. He's fine, but like he's not a character that I'm like super attached to. And him as well. These are just two characters that I know they're Fantastic Four, but I'm not married to them in any way whatsoever. And there is a question about the Super Skrull. When I open the new Super Skrull, will he become irrelevant? I'm not sure. We'll just have to figure it out as we go. And we did open up this top shelf right here for top shelf stuff, larger stuff that can actually go up there and be on display like vehicles and so on and so forth, as well as we still have all that open space and that open space for this. This is always a big project at the end of the year, and we're just about at the end of it. I'm not sure what the next part of the collection is going to be. I'll have to debate that. But for right now, I'm gonna get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.